Welcome back to the RC Wrench Bench. The shocks on the RC10SC7 are coming together. We're going to be filling them with fluid and bleeding them. And just like I did on the other procedures for the shocks, I'll build one of them. That way you don't have to watch me build three, as the process will be the same. I am going to go ahead and use 35 weight for the front shocks. The kit recommends 30 front and rear. I'm going out on a limb. I typically run 35, 37 and a half, sometimes even 40 in the front. So I'm going to go with 35, take a gamble there. So as far as filling the shocks, having some kind of shock stand does make things a lot easier, especially if you're building multiple shocks all at once. So my process with the shocks is to go ahead and fill them essentially to the top. I think the instructions say like 3/4 or something, but I'm going to go essentially to the top. And I'll leave a little bit of space, a couple millimeters there. And then I'm going to move the shock shaft up and down. And when you do that, you'll see that causes some bubbles. And then the thing that's good about the shock building stand is that then you can just set it aside. And then ideally you would let that sit for a while, maybe 5-10 minutes, and let all the air come out of the shocks. For this process, for the video, I'm not going to do that. You want as much of the air out of the shock as you can get. You could use one of those fancy vacuums that pulls all the air out, but I'm not that fancy. All right, so after you let those sit for a while, I'm just going to top off the oil so that it is full. And then I'm just going to put just a little drop of oil in the shock cap and kind of just smear it around with your finger. And you'll definitely need a rag when you're building your shocks. All right, I'm going to reference the instructions here. Make sure the shock shaft's all the way down, blah, 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 blah. Fill it to the top, blah, blah, blah. Install the cap without the bleed screw. All right, so each one of the caps has a bleed screw. We're not going to use that this very second. So the shock shaft's all the way down. We're going to install the cap. And then we're going to slowly compress the shock shaft, and we're going to catch any of the excess oil that comes out. You probably can't see it really clearly right there. I'm just doing that slowly. There we go. And then with the shock shaft all the way down, you're going to install the bleeder screw in the cap. And this recommended practice is quite a bit different than the one that I'm used to with the X-ray kits. That's good. We're going to make sure the cap is tight, make sure the bleeder screw is tight. And then, after you build them, I move them in and out a little bit just to make sure there's no rebound. That looks great. Good. So that's what you would do for the rest of the 4. And again, having a shock stand like this is just handy when you're doing multiple shocks all at once. All right, thanks for tuning into the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Leave comments if you have questions or suggestions or comments. And again, thanks for tuning in.